continue my talk about autism threats and tech, I want to warn you. If you know people who are starting to print their hashtags on their clothes, they are beyond crazy. I am Dennie Declerq, and I'm President and IT Coach at LeadDev. I'm also a Microsoft MVP. I'm very proud of it. It's a recognition for what I do in the community as a speaker about influencing people. I focus on accessibility and autism. You can go to where.ddso.be. We don't have www, we do have, but I want you to use the where. And I'm on, whatever platform that still exists. And to be honest, at this time, I can say that I'm pretty successful and that I'm having a good life. And I'm happy for this. But I need to introduce you that there's a parallel universe. A parallel universe where I was working at an office as a developer, writing code, feeling different than my coworkers, having the feeling that I need to do way more than them just to fit in the box. That I need to put more energy just trying to do myself and trying to do the stuff while other people have less difficulties. In that universe, I wouldn't be happy. I could be at home at night, laying on the couch, the day is over, no time for free time, no time for hobbies, no time for passion. There's a bad thing and there's a good thing. First, a good thing, I'm not there. And another good thing is, I'm going to inspire you as a people working in tech. If you are a manager or are a coworker, you can coach people working next to you. And even if you are on the spectrum yourself, the autism spectrum, you can coach yourself. That's a really good thing. So let's drive them. And I really need to make one comment, because you hear so much things in the news, people saying stuff, autism is being lazy, and they don't want to contribute, and they don't want to work like new people. Oh, on these days, to be honest, these days, everyone is a little bit autistic. No, it's not true. It's not an imaginative new disorder. It's not some people acting with bad intent just to profit from the system. No, they are not more lazy. They are not unwilling to change, not unwilling to do a good job. Their brain is wired differently. And it's proven, it's medical science. And not everyone is a little bit autistic. People with a diagnosis, going to treatments and to doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists, have the thing that their brain is obviously wired different. So things are different for them. And what is different? To be honest, a lot of things. More than 4 things, but today I will talk about 4 things. And for the 4 things, I will use metaphors in a picture. I will talk about the awesome Berlin pastry. I will go about a schema, a schedule that I printed out in the apartment where I live. I will talk about the analogy of a hotel room and about me at the Microsoft sign in Redmond at the headquarters. And of course, they all have a theory. And we started the Berliner pastry. All those themes are coming back, to be honest, and then I will explain why I put in this here with context blindness. Little surprise for later on today why I put here context blindness. But what is context blindness? Context blindness is a thing that people with autism experience, is that they are blind or seeing less or seeing low vision the context of a situation. The context of a work situation, the context of a personal situation, a family situation. Why is something happening to me? Why has the colleague that exceptions, but they don't want to make that exception for me? Today we are here at an awesome conference, but this is context. To explain this, I have my best friend, my BFF, called Kenny. Kenny is in IT and is also in my non-profit LeadDev. What I am saying to Kenny is a complete other context that I want to say here as a keynote for a big conference. This is context. What you're saying in which situation, but also how people are reacting in which situation. So it's proven that people with autism has difficulties with seeing the context or experiencing context, aka we calling this context blindness. But if you are context blind, so you have no context, you can way more freeze, stress, and also really behave unexpected. And intentionally I say behave unexpected, I don't say unwanted or wrong, no, unexpected. It's not the same. And we also, and if I say we, of course I mean people on the spectrum, we have a different stimuli response system. Everything you do in life is giving energy or taking energy. This is called the stimuli response system. People on the spectrum, their stimuli response system is different than the big majority of the people. The funny thing is, funny, I don't know, even within the autism spectrum, all those are different. By example, here I put in the hotel room. I love to travel. I get energy from traveling. But I have peers with autism who would stress out traveling. I get energy for speaking to so many people, to be honest. I'm in my shape doing this. But I have people with autism and also without autism would die here on the stage. But our energy response system is different than others, than the others, let's say. Or the neurotypical people. Neurotypical is a word that we use in the autism society just to put labels on everything, just like they put labels on us. But if your stimuli response system is different, then you have way more disbalances in the system than the others. So, and if you have disbalance in the system, you experience more stress, more anxiety, and autism and communication, we will talk about it later, but it's also a thing. So maybe you already know that your stimuli response system is different, but communicating about it makes it extra, let's call it spicy. Another thing is, people with autism can have special interests. This can be hobbies, this can be fanatism, passion. Yeah, and to be honest, if you have a special interest, and the people are not accepting it or recognizing it, or you are in the wrong environment, because also we are saying in the disability community, and I don't go into the politics of autism and disability or not, but let's say there can be a mismatch between the person and the situation. This, in fact, is a disability and not a person, is the mismatch itself. So if you are in a place where your special interest really doesn't matter, where people shut your mouth if you talk about your special interest, if you're a fanatic, but it lands wrong, yeah, then you are really having problems. But of course, if you are working in a company where you can use it, where you can use your special interest, it can be your superpower. And you can be really a deep dive expert. Combine this also, people with autism are a lot linked to out-of-the-box thinking. You can do crazy things in a good sense. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I wanted that for years. I wanted for years, let's say, a kind of relation combined with Microsoft. Since I was a child, nobody believed that I ever would get there. Nobody. And anyway, jubilant, being MVP for more than 5 years, and taking a picture of yourself, or let people take a picture at the headquarters. Yeah, it's a special interest. And I also have the same of accessibility. Also something not landing very well everywhere in the world right now. And communication. I need to say one thing about communication, and it's like a fairy tale. If communication was perfect, there would be way less problems in the world. There wouldn't be unhappy customers. There wouldn't be bad services. There wouldn't be violence. There wouldn't be frustrations, no burnouts. It should be an awesome life. And yes, communication in these times might be difficult for everybody. Also everyone not on the spectrum, or as I might call it, neurotypical. But here you can see people with autism as the canaries in the coal mine, because they will experience difficulties with communication earlier, faster than others. And as there is stressful communication, of course, this can lead to some kind of problems. First of all, what can stressful communication be? It's a thing that a lot of people with autism have difficulties with calling, telephone calls. I'm not one of those. I love calling. And unclear communications. How many people are communicating? Is it via Slack, Microsoft Teams, email, via telephone, or even in person? And they say something, they're thinking about the answer A, but they really say B. They are just not clear. They say something, and they do something else. So they are not leading by example, and this makes communication difficult. If you promise something, deliver it. And don't promise something if you know that you won't be able to deliver it. And of course, if there's stress in the communication, it can lead to unexpected reactions. But I'm not here to nag about autism. I'm here to tell you, I'm here at LeadDev, a conference for leaders, how the ideal leader should react. And I come back to the four topics I already talked about. So, to be honest, the ideal leader provides context. And how do you provide context? Explaining the situation, explaining how it works, and maybe giving more information than you should give to other people. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Definitely not in context in combination with autism. And please understand, as a leader, that what's obvious for us, for me, for you, might not be so obvious for somebody else. Be mindful of deadlines. I don't say there shouldn't be deadlines. In the ideal world, again, there are no deadlines. Are we in the ideal world? Look around. Look to the newspapers. Are we in the ideal world? Yeah. There are deadlines, but if you are mindful about it, and maybe you can put in the agenda of the person and the balance and the working schedule that there is time for stress, but also for distress, for relax. And ask for reformulation. If you explain something, it can happen that the person with autism might misunderstood that information. If you explain it and you ask directly for reformulation and the ideal thing in their own words, then you are sure they have in the picture. And I promise something to you, the Berlin pastry. Last year, it was the first time I was in Berlin for another conference. In Belgium, we have those two. We call them Berlin balls, Berlin pastries. And we always eating this with an amazing vanilla pudding. That was my context. Berlin pastries are with amazing vanilla pudding. I ate such a pastry at the conference last year, and it was with jelly. It's not that I don't like jelly, but that was not fitting in my context. I was so disappointed. 2 days ago, I was at the Christmas market. I was sitting there, they had that Berlin pastry. I was thinking, should I buy one? No, there's something else. And please be mindful of stimuli. And again, this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Interview each employee what he needs. What's the perfect place for the person? Maybe they need to sit close to the toilet because maybe their bladder is very stressed, and then sometimes they need to go to the toilet more. Also, I love what Amy was telling about people with periods. I think also maybe that also be good if those people can sit close to the toilet. I don't know. I'm just thinking sometimes it might be obvious that it's better. And stress also can lead in maybe going to more to the toilet. But otherwise, maybe that place is close to the coffee machine. But the coffee machine makes too much noise. And it's too much stimulating the person. So maybe put them farther away from that place. But just having the communication, what works best for you? And please, allow headphones, allow hats. I hope you are not working in a workplace that they forbid all those stuff. And be mindful about expectation about big crowd meetings. Yes, this is a big crowd. Again, I don't say limit big crowd meetings. I say be mindful and be mindful about the stimuli for the person. It's not a one-size-fits-all. For me, that is my shape. For me, it's better here than having a one-on-one with a customer of me. But I am not the translation of people with autism. So be mindful. And if you need to have a product demonstration, is that person the right person to give the demonstration? Or is it just how it should work? Nah, I don't like it's just the way it is. No. It's not one size, that's really one size fits all. It's just the way it is. And most of the time this means it's not good for anyone. And be aware of the special interests of the people, your employers, in general. Maybe, come back to the example of me, I am an accessibility expert. But you cannot be good in everything, please believe me. So maybe I'm really not an expert in security. So maybe in the team, you should ask me about accessible IDs. How can we make this application or that website more accessible? And maybe I can go all in and out of the box, and maybe we are delivering the most accessible thing ever. But maybe somebody else make it secure. So I don't believe that everyone should be a jack of all trades. I'm afraid that in a lot of companies and startup culture, everybody needs to be something from everything. No. Be aware of the special interests and know the talent distribution. But one thing really important, if you know the talent distribution, you can challenge. I'm not saying that you never should challenge people about this. No, because challenging is the way that they can thrive, that they succeed, that they shine. Of course, within their field of special interest. And please, should I say it again? Communicate clear and to the point. And do this with empathy. And adjust your communication to the employer, to their needs, to his or hers or their needs. Adjust. If you know that somebody needs written text and somebody prefers a call, please adjust. And in general communication, I believe in multiplying. Having communication in different ways, even for the same people. By example, you write a letter, an email. You also have a quick call about it, that you have 2 times. You multiply the communication. If you can do it that way, you are really empowering a lot of people. Again, ask for short recaps of important topics. And I go back to my second slide, the saying that maybe everybody is a little bit autistic. I wrapped it up with saying here, we are in challenging times. And when are you autistic? You are autistic when you get a diagnosis. That's also the reason that a lot of people those days having burnout. They're not fitting anywhere in the job anymore, or in the family, or in burnout. And the pandemic, I mean, they're not fitting. They really crash, they crash severe, and they go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. They are doing a personal assessment of that person. And then maybe they can say, maybe as a child you also had this kind of problems. Yeah, I remember. That particular thing was always so difficult for me. But I hide it for everybody. Hiding, they call coping. I coped because I just needed to do as normal as possible, as people accepted me to do. But now I'm broken. It doesn't work anymore. You tell to someone in family, you tell to people at your job, and the first thing they are saying is not, yeah. They are not saying at the first thing, yeah, I know. Some tasks you were really special. And indeed, if I let you do, for example, accessibility, you are a hero. But if I ask you something about security, you were stressing so much. I didn't expect that for you, that you communicated so special on that way. But just say this and have empathy. But don't say, yeah, okay, now you are autistic, and now we need to change everything for you because you don't want to do it anymore and everyone is a little bit autistic. No, adjust, thrive, use the talent, communicate clear, and be a very, very successful leader with a very, very successful team. Thank you. Questions are for in the office hours.